Okay, welcome. Um, Back to another video of in my Bible reading series. The NIV translation stands for New International Version. I'm on Genesis right now, and slowly working my way through it, and one chapter at a time. You get this video is going to be on chapter 37, and in the last chapter, it went through Esau's lineage, and in chapter 37, we're gonna the lens is gonna change back to Joseph, and yeah, yeah, you know, it's getting interesting, it's like, I mean, it's been interesting to me, for the most part, and stuff. Like, I'm more interested in like the story and the laws that are conveyed through the stories and stuff like that, rather than the lineage stuff. Um, but nonetheless, it is important. So yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna get into Genesis chapter 37, and yeah. Oh, check out the playlist if you want in the top right corner. In the first few seconds of the video, you can click that. It'll open up a little menu thing, and then you can see my playlist, and then go through all the stuff that I've recorded so far. It's gonna be it's a 3-year project I'm doing right now, and because that's how long it's gonna take. Cause I want this whole thing read aloud by me. And I do one chapter at a time, and yeah, well, sometimes occasionally too, but yeah, as I've said a lot previously, and yeah. I'm thinking of, okay, so just side note here. If you happen to be watching this and you're a Dragon Ball fan or a Naruto fan like me, I love my boy Naruto. Oh man, make me cry. Anyway, I'm thinking about trying to do, because there's this text to speech bot site I found, and I might try. Oh, anyway, yeah, I might try to get all of Genesis, like, well, not at least all of Genesis, but I might try to get the Bible read by Naruto or like Frieza, because they have those voices. I would like Goku, but Naruto is, Naruto's my main priority. Like, but I wouldn't, like, I don't have much time to do that, so I might just do the whole. I might try and just copy and paste all of Genesis. Um, yeah, copy and paste all of Genesis, and into the text to speech bot, and let it let it work as it is, and stuff like that. And so I'll have one video Genesis, and then the other video, like one video on each book perhaps, because like Philemon or like Jude, I could get that in one video, but all of Genesis, I don't know if the text to speech bot is gonna go through all that, but I have to work it out. But I might do that. But anyway, that could be cool. Get all the weebs in there, because I know that there's a big audience. A lot of motherfuckers like Naruto. Naruto is one of the big three, man. I wish there was a Rock Lee text to speech, man. I would love this. I would love to hear Rock Lee uh, reading the Bible. But I love it, boy Rock Lee. Anyway, but yeah, we'll see. It depends on how good the text to speech bot is, and stuff like that. Like, man, if I had the money, to be honest, I probably would pay Mel Flanagan to audibly read read the Bible, read the whole thing to me, and then I could post that and be like, wow, because then she could like do the tone, she could feel the tone and stuff like that, and like and stuff like that. Yeah, that'd be awesome. But I doubt that she would do it. But and even if I were to pay her like a ridiculous amount of money, I think it'd be worth it. But if I even had that money, to be honest, I ain't got money. I'm broke. Well, I'm not broke, but like I'm surviving, and I can handle a moderate expense. But like I ain't no rich man. I ain't living in like mansions or nothing. I got a job just like everyone else, just like every other adult who is a functioning member of society. Alright. But anyway, yeah, let's just get into Genesis 37. Jacob lived in the land where his father had stayed, and the land of Canaan. This is the account of Jacob. Joseph, a young man of 17, was tending the flocks with his brothers, the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah. And Bilhah and Zilpah were the maidservants, I think, of Rachel and Leah, respectively, I think. His father and Zilpah, his father's wives, and he brought their father a bad report about them. Now Israel loved Joseph more than any of his other sons, because he had borne him in his old age, and he made a richly ornamented robe for him. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and could not speak a kind word to him. Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him all the more. He said to them, "Listen to this dream I had. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it." His brothers said to him, Do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us?" And they hated him all the more because of his dream and what he had said. Then he had another dream, and he told it to his brothers. "Listen," he said, "I had another dream, and this time the sun and the moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me." When he told his father as well as his brothers, his father rebuked him and said, "What is this dream you had? Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you?" His brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the matter in mind. Now his brothers had gone to graze their father's flock near Shechem, and Israel said to Joseph, "As you know, your brothers are grazing the flocks near Shechem. Come, I am going to send you to them." "Very well," he replied. So he said to him, "Go and see if all is well with your brothers and with the flocks, and bring word back to me." Then he sent him off from the valley of Hebron. When Joseph arrived at Shechem, a man found him wandering around in the fields and asked him, "What are you looking for?" He replied, "I'm looking for my brothers. Can you tell me where they are grazing their flocks?" "They have moved on from here," the man answered. "I heard them say, 'Let's go to Dothan.'" So Joseph went after his brothers and found them near Dothan, but they saw him in the distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. "Here comes that dreamer," they said to each other. "Come now, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns and say that a ferocious animal devoured him. Then we'll see what comes of his dreams." When Reuben heard this, he tried to rescue him from their hands. "Let's not take his life," he said. "Don't shed any blood. Throw him into the cistern here in the desert, but don't lay a hand on him." Reuben said this to rescue him from them and take him back to his father. So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, the richly ornamented robe he was wearing, and they took him and threw him into the cistern. Now the cistern was empty, there was no water in it. As they sat down to eat their meal, they looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. Their camels were loaded with spices, balm, and myrrh, and they were on their way to take them down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, "What will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood." His brothers agreed. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up out of the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels And there's a footnote that says that is about 8 ounces or 0.2 kilograms. Oh, I lost it again. All right. Of silver to the Irish Ishmaelite to the Irish. Oh, funny. To the Ishmaelites who took him from Egypt. When Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes. He went back to his brothers and said, "The boy isn't there. Where can I turn now?" Then they got Joseph's robe, slaughtered a goat, and dripped the robe in the blood. They took the ornament of the robe back to their father and said, "We found this. Examine it to see whether it is your son's robe." He recognized it and said, "It is my son's robe. Some ferocious animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces." Then Jacob tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and mourned for his son many days. All his sons and daughters came to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. "No," he said, "in mourning will I go down to the grave to my son." So his father wept for him. Meanwhile, the Midianites sold Joseph in Egypt to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard. Alright, that was Genesis chapter 37. And then the next chapter, it only continues in the next chapter, man, Getting into the famous story, or into the well-known story, about Joseph in Egypt, getting sold it by his brothers in Egypt, and stuff like that, and he ends up doing a bunch of other stuff that I won't get into yet, and yeah, alright, that's the end. Okay. Next chapter, Genesis 38, of course, but yeah, that's it. Okay, I'll hopefully catch you in the next one.